There once was a girl named Latoya. She and her family had lived in Uganda and were vulnerable to the mosquito-borne flavivirus that was known as the ZIKA virus. One morning, Latoya was woken up by her pregnant mother Sharkeisha, and they proceeded to the community hall where a couple charity workers from the UK had arrived to educate them about the virus. Good morning everyone, I am Becky, and alongside my team, we will be spending the next month helping your community become anti-ZIKA. Now, I know most of you are wondering, hey Becky, what on earth is ZIKA? Well, to answer that question, it is an infection transmitted to humans by mosquitoes carrying the virus. It is typically transmitted by certain types of Aedes mosquitoes. Latoya had briefly learned about the Aedes species of mosquitoes in school. She knew that an Aedes aegypti became infected when it feeds on somebody who has ZIKA virus in their blood during their infection. Once infected, the virus multiplies inside the mosquito and can infect other people when the mosquito feeds again. Latoya was unsure of what initially caused the virus, so she had raised her hand out of curiosity and asked Becky, "Hey Becky, what causes ZIKA?" "Good question, young child," replied Becky. "ZIKA is caused by a tiny critter called a pathogen. The pathogen is a microscopical arbovirus flavivirus that causes disease. It is of spherical shape and is composed of a strand of ribonucleic acid and other important elements that make it a unique pathogen that causes different types of symptoms in comparison to other diseases." Speaking of symptoms, does anyone gathered here know of the symptoms that a person experiences once infected with the ZIKA virus? The crowd was silent, but Latoya proudly raised her hand again. Well, 60 to 80% of infections don't actually cause symptoms, but when they do occur, they are usually only mild and only last 4 days to 1 week. The main symptoms are usually only fever, skin rash, sore joints, muscle pain, headache, and conjunctivitis, which is also known as inflamed eyes. Impressive stuff! That's right, young girl. But did you know that ZIKA, on rare occasions, could also cause rare congenital developmental malformations, including microcephaly in babies born to mothers exposed to ZIKA virus during her pregnancy, responded Becky. Latoya's eyes widened as she clung onto her mother tightly. She knew that what Becky meant was that a pregnant woman could pass on the infection to her baby, therefore causing an abnormal smallness of the head as a result of incomplete development of the brain. Latoya feared her mom becoming infected by ZIKA and asked Becky once more, "How can we prevent being infected, Becky?" Well, unfortunately, since ZIKA is an asymptomatic disease, researchers have been unable to develop any curative treatment or vaccine to protect against ZIKA virus infection. Therefore, we have come to help local Ugandans to take preventive personal measures to avoid mosquito bites during daytime. Some prevention strategies we would like to implement in this community include wearing long-sleeved clothing and long pants, applying mosquito repellent to exposed skin, removing potential mosquito breeding sites from around the home, and sleeping under a mosquito bed net. However, if you know of anyone that is already infected with this infection, here are some consultation and treatment options you could inform them about. Upon infection, a person must get plenty of rest, drink lots of fluids to prevent dehydration, and consume medicines such as acetaminophen like Tylenol or paracetamol to reduce fever and pain. The crowd slowly left the community hall as they were dismissed to start setting up mosquito bed nets that were distributed by the charity organization, but Latoya remained and went on to look for Becky. It wasn't long until Latoya found Becky, so she approached her in private and asked to learn more about the virus. Well, Latoya, your curious brain is just as amazing as your body and its capabilities. Did you know that right now, your body has 3 lines of defense that protect you from pathogens that can cause you to become ill? The first line of defense is the skin. Your skin is tough and contains chemicals and good bacteria that battle any invading pathogens. The skin is also dry and prevents bacteria from growing. Oftentimes though, the ZIKA virus is more powerful than this first line of defense and proceeds on to the second line of defense through a wound, cut, or bite in the skin. The second line of defense is the blood, which contains red and white cells. The white blood cells are also known as leukocytes, which have a purpose of fighting infections by destroying pathogens upon invasion, toxins, and damaging infected cells. The white blood cells travel to the site of infection, attacks the pathogen, and digests it. The third line of defense is the body's ability to create antibodies in response to pathogen invasion. These antibodies attach to a part of the pathogen called an antigen and disables the pathogen, which can be easily attacked by the white blood cells. The body can continue to make antibodies for a particular pathogen even if it is long gone, making your body immune to that pathogen. After that, Latoya had remained obedient of the prevention strategies and studied other pathogens causing different diseases. When Latoya grew older, she became the first person in all of history to find a prophylactic and curative treatment to end ZIKA. It all starts with a couple of questions. The end.